GVTV News.
Thanks, Amy, and I'm Randy Hansen. In today's World News headlines, UN arms treaty talks fail before deadline. And U.S. foreign weapons sales at record in 2012. And U.S. drone attack kills 7 in Pakistan. And 240,000 Pakistani children at risk after Taliban banned vaccinations in protest of the U.S. And Romney falls short of backing preemptive Israeli strike. And Obama unveils new military aid to Israel. And a report says U.S. shares contingency Iran bombing plans with Israel. And pregnant Aurora victim who lost 6-year-old daughter in shooting suffers miscarriage. Maryland suspect arrested after large arsenal after threats. And Enbridge oil pipeline leaks in Wisconsin. And FBI raids political activists in northwestern U.S. And Vermont police confront protesters at governor's summit. And thousands protest fracking in D.C. rally. And dozens of cyclists arrested at London Olympics. And thousands protest nuclear power in Japan. And battle for Aleppo continues in Syria. GVTV News is broadcast on Grass Valley Television, a division of Rural Counties Television Network, whose focus is on community involvement, and we also air on NCTV. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's first world news story, the United Nations failed to meet a deadline on Friday for the first ever global agreement regulating the arms trade. Hopes had been raised for the last-minute deal, but the negotiations collapsed without required consensus. Arms control advocates heavily criticized the Obama administration, which demanded a number of exemptions and ultimately said it needed more time to review the proposals. White House officials had cited the need to protect Second Amendment rights in the United States despite UN assurances the treaty text would not interfere. In a statement, Amnesty International said the United States had shown stunning cowardice, adding it's a staggering abdication of leadership by the world's largest exporter of conventional weapons to pull the plug on the talks just as they were nearing a historic breakthrough. United Nations is now under pressure to revive the talks to reach a deal before the UN General Assembly this fall. Anna MacDonald of Oxfam said enough progress had been made to fuel hopes of an eventual agreement. As the global arms treaty talks collapsed at the United Nations, a top State Department official openly bragged the U.S. government efforts have helped boost foreign military sales to record levels this year. Speaking to military reporters, Andrew Shapiro, the Assistant Secretary of State of Political and Military Affairs, said, "We've been up by our game terms in advocating for U.S. companies." According to Shapiro, U.S. arms sales have already topped $50 billion in fiscal 2012, putting the United States on pace to increase its total for the year by 70%. At least 7 people have been killed in U.S. drone strikes in the Pakistani area of North Waziristan. As in previous strikes, Pakistani officials say the victims were militants, but the Obama administration's policy is to deem all adult male drone targets as militant unless exculpatory evidence is found that after their deaths. Strike comes just as the head of the Pakistani Intelligence Service, Lieutenant General Zahir ul Islam, is preparing to visit the United States for talks later this week. Relief officials in Pakistan have warned that some 240,000 children are now at risk after local Taliban warlords banned polio vaccinations in both North and South Waziristan. The Taliban calls the move to respond to the ongoing drone attacks and potential for espionage under the cover of immunization, citing the CIA-backed fake vaccination program that helped locate Osama bin Laden. Pakistan is one of the 3 countries in the world where polio remains a large-scale risk. And Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney continued his foreign trip over the weekend with a visit to Israel. Romney's campaign drew headlines after a top aide initially announced on Sunday that Romney would announce his support for a preemptive Israeli military strike on Iran should Israel deem it necessary to stop Iran's alleged nuclear activities. But after taking the stage for a speech Sunday night, Romney backed off from the stance, stopping short of backing a unilateral strike. Instead, Romney echoed President Obama's long-stated position to leave all options on the table. And he said, "We should employ any and all measures to dissuade the Iranian regime from its nuclear course, and it is our fervent hope that diplomatic and economic measures will do so. In the final analysis, of course, no option should be excluded. We recognize Israel's right to defend itself, and that is a right for America to stand with you." As Mitt Romney headed to Israel, President Obama took new steps to display his support for Israeli government policies. On Friday, Obama announced a new measure to increase military aid to Israel. Speaking to reporters, Obama correctly said aid was worth $70 million, but then apparently thinking he had made a mistake, stopped himself to wrongly claim the aid was in fact worth $70 billion. And he said, "I have made it a top priority in my administration to deepen cooperation with Israel across the whole spectrum of security issues, intelligence, military, and technology. And in many ways that this legislation does is bring together all the outstanding cooperation that we have seen really at an unprecedented level between the 2 countries to underscore our unshakable commitment to Israeli's security. I'm also very pleased this week we're going to be able to announce $70 billion in additional spending for Iron Dome," unquote. The White House also took new steps to back the Israeli government's position on bombing Iran, citing a U.S. official. The Israeli newspaper Haaretz reported Sunday that President Obama's national security advisor, Thomas Donilon, had personally briefed Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on contingency plans to bomb Iran should the United States decide to abandon the diplomatic track on Iran's nuclear program. Israeli government has denied the report. A pregnant shooting victim who sustained serious injuries in the Aurora massacre and lost her young daughter in an attack has suffered a miscarriage. Ashley Moser was 8 weeks pregnant when she miscarried from the trauma of the shooting while undergoing treatment in the hospital. Her 6-year-old daughter, Veronica, was the youngest victim to be killed in the attack. The suspect in the case, James Holmes, is due to make his second court appearance, which he did. Holmes' public defender has made court filings showing that he had been receiving psychiatric treatment before the shooting occurred. Police in Maryland say they may have prevented another shooting with the arrest of a man who made violent threats and was found to have a large stockpile of weapons. The suspect, Neil Prescott, had reportedly called his workplace and made threats referring to himself as the Joker, just as James Holmes had allegedly called himself upon the arrest in Aurora. Maryland police said Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms officials described the raid on Prescott's home. Prince George's County's police chief, Mark McGaugh, said he made significant threats to be coming back and harming people at the business. In fact, he said, "I'm a joker and I'm going to load my guns and blow everyone up." This initiated a 36-hour investigation that culminated early this morning. Ashton Benedict, ATF Baltimore Field Division, said, "We had several agents out there and right on scene. They evaluated the evidence. They recovered approximately 25 firearms, several thousand rounds of ammunition. The firearms were further described as semi-automatic rifles, semi-automatic pistols." Canadian oil company Enbridge has sustained another leak in one of its oil pipelines in the United States. Major pipeline for Canada Light Crude spilled more than 1,000 barrels of oil in Wisconsin on Friday, forcing the company to shut it down. Leak came nearly 2 years to the day after Enbridge's oil spill in Kalamazoo River, the most extensive onshore spill in U.S. history. The FBI is accused of targeting political activists in northwestern United States. At least 3 homes have been raided in Portland. Grand jury subpoenas have also been handed out in Seattle and Olympia against people linked to occupying anarchist-related groups. A spokesperson for the group, calling itself Committee Against Political Repression, said the people are being targeted on their ideological beliefs. Tabitha Milliken said, "People are being targeted based on their political beliefs, and we know this because specifically in the search warrant there listed anarchist literature, black clothes, and computers." No arrests have been made so far. The FBI said only the raids were conducted as part of an investigation of violent crime. Grand jury in Seattle is expected to convene later this week. And police in Birmingham, Vermont are being accused of firing rubber bullets at activists protesting a meeting of New England governors and Eastern Canadian premiers. On Sunday, police said they took action after a group of protesters tried to block a bus picking up conference delegates. Video footage posted online shows police shooting at least one protester at close range. Police confirmed pellets were used but denying firing rubber bullets. And thousands of people rallied in Capitol Hill on Saturday to protest national gas drilling process known as hydraulic fracturing or fracking. Organizers of the Stop the Frack Attack rally said they brought together members of communities across the country whose lives are being adversely impacted by the environmental damage of fracking. The rally culminated in a march to the offices of America's Natural Gas Alliance and American Petroleum Institute. Police in London are being accused of political repression in a mass arrest of cyclists during the Olympics opening ceremony. On Friday, at least 132 people on bicycles were detained while taking part in a monthly ride called Critical Mass. Cyclists say they were kettled by police and held overnight. One of those arrested was 13 years old. And in Japan, thousands of people broke through police barriers to march on Parliament Sunday night to massive protest against nuclear power. Japan has seen its largest anti-nuclear protest to date after bringing a shuttered plant back online for the first time since last year's Fukushima disaster. And in Syria, clashes continue to rage between government and rebel forces in Aleppo. Both sides are offering conflicting accounts of how much they are in control of the city. At the United Nations, Rupert Colville of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights warned civilians in Aleppo are under siege and said it goes without saying the increased use of heavy weapons, tanks, attack helicopters, and reportedly in some cases even jet fighters in urban areas has already caused many civilian casualties and puts many more in grave risk. Taking all this together with reported buildup of forces in and around Aleppo, we believe this bodes very ill for the people of that city. And that's it for World News today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News.
Soundcheck Music Center, the rock and roll connection. We have guitars, amps, drum equipment, sound accessories, lessons, and repairs. We are located at 671 Maltman Drive, Grass Valley. 530-272-7236, open 7 days a week.
No one needs anyone, they don't even just pretend. Jonah's in America. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't.
That's right, it's time for the police blotter, and pictures in the blotter not from these actual events but used for visual aid only. These public records are obtained from daily logs issued from Nevada County Law Enforcement. Grass Valley Police Department on Thursday, 7:57 a.m. A report was taken that a burglary of a construction trailer happened at the 100 block of Scotia Pines Drive. 11:01 a.m. a report was taken of a woman overdosing on drugs from 100 block of Bank Street. And 11:39 a.m. a report was taken of two men possibly smoking weed in a truck near Fowler Center. And 1:50 p.m. a report was taken the garage door remote control was stolen from the 200 block of Cornwall Drive. And 2:02 p.m. a report was taken of skateboarders searching unlocked cars near the 100 block of Dorsey Drive. And 2:10 p.m. a report was taken that a car was burglarized 3 weeks ago from 300 block of Mill Street. And at 5:36 p.m. a report of a fight at Condon Park with teens involved was taken. The victim then left the area. And 6:21 p.m. a report was taken of a man tossing wet paper towels around the 900 block of Sutton Way. He was told not to return. And 8:59 p.m. a report was taken some teens in a fight on South Auburn Street, and deputies responded, then broke up the fight. And Friday, 4:51 a.m. a report was taken a man passed out behind the wheel of his car at an intersection taken was taken, but he was gone when officers arrived at Whispering Pines Drive and Brunswick Road. And 6:14 a.m. a report was taken of a possible burglary to a shed in 100 block of McKnight Way. 6:23 a.m. a report was taken of a man dangling on opposite side of a fence with a rope on his foot near the Dorsey Drive Bridge. He could not be located. At Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Thursday, 9:20 a.m. a report was taken that a friend stole a caller's marijuana plants and camera from his house at 25,000 block at Table Meadow Road. With friends like this, who needs enemies? 10:13 a.m. a report was taken that someone had padlocked a woman inside her own property on 17,000 block of Country Creek. At 8:15 p.m. a report was taken of a man entered a property and threw many items at the caller and messed with his cars parked in the driveway on the 11,000 block of Sunset Way. At 9:24 p.m. a report was taken of a man fishing in a posted no fishing pond and parking in a no parking zone on the 11,000 block of Miners Way. At 11:38 p.m. a report was taken of someone slashed tires in 11,000 block of Sunset. And Nevada City Police Department on Thursday, 11:54 a.m. police arrested a male subject for marijuana possession with the intent to sell in the Dead Man's Trail area. And that's the blotter today. And now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. You guessed it, it's us, GVTV News. Christopher's Old World Deli and Catering Company has brought its delicious food and service downtown Grass Valley. Like desserts? They got 'em. You like international style lunches? They got 'em. Christopher's Deli and Catering for parties, get-togethers, weddings, or whatever. Open 7 days a week. In today's local headlines, Grass Valley Police assisting investigation of possible arsons. And Craigslist conspiracy leaves man beaten and robbed. And Penn Valley man suspected of thefts in Bulliard Bars area. In a story written by Captain Rex Marks of the GVPD out of Grass Valley Police and fire departments are investigating a series of suspicious fires overnight involving 4 locations in the city where arson is suspected. At approximately 11:30 p.m. Sunday evening, Grass Valley Police dispatchers received the first in a series of calls reporting a fire at 404 South Auburn Street. Responding police and fire personnel arrived within minutes to find the structure engulfed in flames. At approximately 12:24 a.m. Monday morning, a second call of a fire was received, this time at 114 Neal Street, being the former Tribal Weavers building. Police units responding were able to extinguish the fire, which resulted in only minor damage. Approximately 12:50 a.m., a third call of fire was received indicating that a garbage can was observed to be on fire near the exterior of 207 Mill Street, being United Nevada County Library. This fire was quickly extinguished with only minor damage. Subsequent to the extinguishing of the first fire at 404 South Auburn Street, fire investigators conducted a check of neighboring properties, determining that an attempt to initiate a fire near the foundation of 402 South Auburn Street had been made, but with negative success. Both the Grass Valley Police and the fire departments are actively investigating these crimes as suspected arson. In each case, the fires were initiated with combustible materials believed to have been located in close proximity to the structures. At this time, there is no persons of interest in connection with those fires. Anyone with information related to those crimes is encouraged to contact the Grass Valley Police Department at 530-477-4600. That's 530-477-4600, or the Grass Valley Fire Department at 274-4370, 274-4370. An apparent Craigslist scam left a Grass Valley man beaten and robbed after he arranged a date with an Olivehurst woman. Debbie Sutton, 32, is accused of conspiring with 2 other people, including a teenager, in an assault and armed robbery of a 64-year-old victim, according to the Grass Valley Police Department in a news release. About 8 p.m. Thursday, officers were called to the parking lot of Station House at 1300 block of East Main Street. Witnesses had told police an injured man was left behind and 3 people left him there, then sped off in a car. Officers found the victim, who said he had been on a date with Sutton, he realized at some point she intended to steal his wallet. Sutton, along with a 16-year-old and Ryan Weeks, 25, originally planned to invade the Grass Valley man's home as he slept, police determined after further investigation. The group decided to rob him by force instead, officers added. The suspects previously published a Craigslist ad to lure men into a date with Sutton and carry out this plan, according to the news release. All three suspects from Olivehurst are now in jail. They face charges on criminal conspiracy and first-degree robbery. Immediately after taking down the victim's report, police sent out a description of the vehicle that the group took off in. Nevada County deputies caught up with the trio minutes later in Penn Valley. The man got his cash back as well. Yuba County Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of a Penn Valley man in connection with a string of thefts in the Bulliard Bar area. John Shrikangast, 37, was taken into custody Monday. Officials reported the recovery of approximately $10,000 in stolen property. Investigation began June 20th when a man reported the outboard motor was stolen from his boat in the dark day upper parking lot at Bulliard's Bar, according to Sheriff's Office news release. About 2 weeks later, a man reported that someone broke into his car and stole several items from the vehicle. Authorities received additional reports of someone stealing gas from vehicles in the parking lot. On July 12th, the California Highway Patrol received a report the vehicle was stolen from the parking lot. Sheriff officials said additional information surfaced that some credit cards taken during the burglaries were subsequently used in Grass Valley. Yuba County deputies conducted an investigation with the Grass Valley Police and Nevada County Sheriff's Departments, which led to the identification of Shrikangast as a potential suspect. On Monday, deputies conducted a probation search of Shrikangast's residence at the 11,000 block of Pinnacle Lane. Search turned up the stolen vehicle, stolen motor, and other items taken from the vehicle burglary. Authorities located additional property believed to have been taken in other thefts, officials said. And that's it for our local news today. We would like to thank Amy Goodman, Reuters, Associated Press, UBNet, Sierra Foothill Report, local law enforcement, and other sourcing of our news, and you for watching. I guess we'll thank the union too, because we did glance at it. Due to the complaint from the local paper, we will no longer be using their reported local stories except for facts of news, as we abide by the fair use of news. Remember, we are the only visual video news media in Nevada County, and we are free for you to watch 7 days a week. And if you have any local stories or would like to have them aired on our news, please email us with limited story at 750 words, and if you have pictures, please include them with an email to grassvalleytelevision@gmail.com. Please include some type of contact information for verification of facts. You can watch this broadcast on Comcast Cable and CTV Channel 11 in Nevada County, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 10:30 a.m. Saturday and 8 p.m. Sunday. Suddenlink Channel 16 in Truckee and Alta Sierra also. And we are also streamed on the internet, NCTV's Digital Media Center website, nevadacountytv.org, and gvtv.org. And don't forget Grass Valley Television that plays 24/7 on the net. We have other types of content there, grassvalleytelevision.com. We post to Facebook, YouTube, Blip.tv, and many other podcast sites, our RSS feed, and video podcasts on iTunes. Just search under video podcast for GVTV News. Grass Valley Television also videotapes local events around Nevada County. If you have a need for video, you can contact us for more info. You can contact us at grassvalleytelevision@gmail.com or 362-8889. That's a 530 number. This show is produced by Grass Valley Television of Rural County's television network. We hope that you will keep tuned in to our new season, as we are going to spice up the news in the future. Please email us with ideas and comments, and like us on Facebook if you can. We have about 4 spots on there. The news player you can have on your site. You can embed it in your own site, or you can just go to our site at gvtv.org. Due to the lack of underwriters, we will be doing 3 shows a week, playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday editions. We would expand when we get more community support. Here's our newest underwriter, Political Smile, the Empower Network viral blog. This unique site has several portals, like a Facebook page and Facebook groups, 2 of them, and 2 blog sites, and are going to be tied to GVTV News and Grass Valley Television and Rural Counties Television Network. Best landing zone on the web at politicalsmile.wordpress.com. There's no www in front of that. It's just politicalsmile.wordpress.com. Plenty of laughs and information. And that's it for today. And thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Grass Valley Television works hard to bring you news and entertainment from around the world and local content you do not get on mainstream media. We want to expand and improve what you see, and we need your help. If you support this program and want exposure for your business, then this is a win-win situation. Underwriting is important for us. For information, just email us, grassvalleytelevision@gmail.com.